So I come from a country that basically says if you're the oldest male in the family, you're going to inherit everything. It's not like America and other countries where there's a will and people get inherited whatever was destined to them by the person that dies. No, all you have to be where I live is a oldest male and you get everything. Well, that's what happened to my brother, and we were so close growing up. I never expected him to just get the money and say, oh, well, I wish you luck in life because I'm not giving you a dime. But it gets so much worse than that. He also became the CEO of our father's company, and his wife, ugh, I can't stand her because she decides to do this with the money.
Hello. It's the first time I'm posting anything here. I usually read a lot of posts here, but I never had the courage to post anything of my own. Also, usually, I feel like I've had enough control over my life and my feelings that I don't really need to let them out or anything like that. But recently, I feel there are so many emotions that I'm feeling that I don't know how to handle them anymore. I don't have a lot of friends. And those who are pretty close to me live in different countries, so right now, I don't have the physical and mental support I need from the people around me. So basically, for a bit of context, I come from a country where the oldest male child inherits the family wealth. It's a very traditionalist type country, so I can't really put up a fight for it either, because I know that no one's going to support me on it or do anything to help. So, many females before me have been through this, and it's not just females either. The second child, third child, or however many there are, don't get anything. It's like the rest of the children have to earn their wealth and struggle through life, especially in this economy, and the first male child easily lives this comfortable lifestyle because he gets everything from the family wealth. My family is pretty wealthy. I'm not saying this to brag or anything, but just to make you guys understand how this goes. My dad owned a company that was extremely successful. We'd take trips every year, and we never had to worry about money or anything like that, and I was very grateful for my childhood because I got everything I needed. But it's all been stolen from me after my father passed away. In the family, it's just my mom, dad, and my older brother, and then me. So all my life, it's been me and my brother against the entire world. I mean, we were very close. We did everything together, and he always helped me with whatever I needed. I thought that this was going to be our entire life, and when he would get the family wealth, he would share it with me, or at least help support me. I just got done with a business major at my university, and yeah, I have a job. You know, I'm not dirt poor, but everything I have, I've earned on my own. And my brother is over there living his best life. Way better than me, off of money that he did not even earn. I would not have been as annoyed with it as I am right now if he did not turn into a total jerk as soon as he got the money. Not only did he refuse to give me any in case I ever needed financial support, but he turned completely against me, and I did not expect that, to be honest. I thought he would always be my big brother, supporting me 24/7 in anything and everything. However, things changed when he married Serena, my sister-in-law. At first I was happy for him. He's marrying the love of his life and everything's going well. As his sister, I wanted to support him through every decision in his life, and he kept talking about how she was the missing piece of his life and all that. But then shortly after the wedding, it felt like she was spreading worms into my brother's head. They were constantly comparing themselves to other people. Serena always seemed a bit like she cared about what other people thought of her and how much she had to show for herself. And now she's infecting my brother with the same thing because suddenly it seemed like my brother forgot every moral value that he was taught as a child. He became fixated on material things like expensive cars, designer clothes, flashy vacations. It was like the brother I grew up with was no longer there. He was turned into this hungry, materialistic person. Even our conversations shifted. They turned from meaningful discussions to talks about how he's spending his money, what new designer things he's got or anything like that. Whenever I would bring up our shared childhood memories or our family's traditions, he would dismiss them as inconsequential and mundane. It hurt to see him prioritize shallow things over the deep connections we once had. Their wedding anniversary was a prime example of their changed priorities. Instead of celebrating with a heartfelt gathering of family and friends, they threw all these parties at exclusive venues, complete with red carpet and paparazzi-like photographers. I could not help but feel like they were more focused on creating an image that cherished the love they had for each other. Moreover, their materialistic behavior began to impact our relationship as siblings. Whenever I visited, they would flaunt their latest expensive purchases and boast about the places they've been. It felt like they were constantly trying to one-up everyone, including me and their own family. I could no longer relate to them or connect with them on a deeper level. Eventually, I tried to muster up the courage to talk to my brother about it and let him know that I was feeling this way regarding this situation. I was hoping we could reconnect and he would understand my point of view and everything, Go back to how we were before his entire mindset changed. However, the exact opposite happened because when I went to sit down and talk to him about the whole thing, he got very offended and extremely defensive. He absolutely dismissed my concerns regarding him and told me that I was jealous of how well his life was going and how wealthy he was. First of all, what the heck was he on? I was actually a bit taken aback. Because, he knew that I'm not a material person and I care more about feelings, emotions, thoughts, relationships, and all that. I could care less that he has more money than me. It's the fact that he's overlooking how I'm feeling towards him and how he's completely changed as a person. I was genuinely worried about the emotional distance that he was feeling, but it felt like he absolutely did not care. I guess he's too far in his head to understand that there's a life outside of material things, and these things aren't going to stay with him forever like I was going to. I'm not anymore, though, because there's no way I'll stick by his side when he treats me like, crap, and only values me when he thinks that I can bring him something materialistic. It got even worse when they were celebrating Serena's birthday. What happened at that party, I can't even begin to explain just how hurtful it was. My blood's boiling all over again just thinking about it. So, basically, you know how I mentioned that they like everything to be very extravagant and something that shows off how much wealth they have. They do it for their social status, right? So that means that everyone has to know just how much money they have. What I did not realize was that they were willing to drag their own family under the rug just to get a bit of societal validation. Serena's birthday was at the beach, and it was a very pretty day. The decor, it was amazing. The weather, amazing. And everything seemed like it would be perfect. Obviously, that was my wishful thinking. Everyone has gathered around having fun, dancing, eating, and all the jazz. It was nice seeing some familiar faces that I have not seen in a while. Anyways, everyone was doing these toasts for the couple, especially Serena, and since I'm her only sister-in-law, they were all cheering me on to do a toast as well. I wasn't going to do it because I know they see me as below them, and it only would shatter my self-confidence and respect even more. But the cheering got really intense, and I have to give in to the pressure. I walked up to the stage and started talking about how I was really lucky to just have them as family and everything, the basic general stuff that everyone says in a speech. I was going to end it when I remembered that they went on a vacation to celebrate Serena's birthday, and I wanted to ask them how their trip was. So I did that. However, it took a very big turn because I could see from the smug smile that fell on Ken's face that he was up to no good. As soon as I mentioned the holiday, he started boasting about it. Here's exactly what he said. "Oh, you would not believe the incredible vacation we just got back from. It was an absolute luxury, sis. The finest hotels, gourmet meals every single night. the most exclusive experiences, but I suppose those things are far out of her reach for someone like you." His words hit me like a slap to the face, and I could feel the eyes of our relatives on me, watching and waiting to see how I would respond, but my mind was absolutely spinning. I could not believe my own brother would say something like this to me, especially in front of such a big crowd. I had nothing to say to that, though, so I just mustered up a weak smile and agreed with him, being like, "Oh, ha, it sounds amazing. Glad you guys had fun," or something stupid like that. I thought that they'd been done, I don't know, crapping on me publicly. But Serena continued on talking about how some people are destined for a life of mediocrity. She said it like she was trying to comfort me about my lifestyle. I'm not even sad about my life. What the heck? I pay the bills on time. I live comfortably. Why did they think I'm so below them? Just because they can afford all these lavish, branded items and I can't. Even though I work hard to earn my money. They just sit on their butts all day. I mean, come on. Ken doesn't even do crap for the company. His assistant handles every single thing going on there. I would not even be surprised if he didn't know what the project his company was currently working on was. I was going to just walk off the stage, but my cousin Emma spoke up for me and put them back in their place. Her words in front of everyone were like a relief from a burn. But their words were still roaming around in my head like they were engraved or something. So, I left the party and refused to talk to anyone except Emma. Everyone saw how tears were running down my face while I was walking to my car, and even Ken and Serena, well, they noticed. But they did absolutely nothing. I did get a call from Ken the next morning, but he told me that I take things too literally, and that there's no need for me to make such a big deal out of something that was clearly meant to be a joke. I don't understand how undermining someone and publicly humiliating them can be a joke, but his mind was really deep in the gutter. No matter how hard I tried to explain to him that I was hurt and that he needed to stop acting so privileged, he got mad at me. I tried telling him that he has no right to boast about the money because he did not even earn it. And the only reason that the company is still standing is that his assistant, Jonathan, is doing everything that needs to be done and taking care of everything that he, as the CEO, should be doing. Obviously, he did not understand, so I just let it be. It was absolutely no use fighting or arguing with somebody whose head was so high up his arse. I was not only wasting my time, but I was also wasting my energy, and it was absolutely ridiculous. But as soon as I hung up the phone, I started bawling my eyes out. It was very hard for me to cry all my life because I was always in so much control of my emotions. But now I was so hurt that I wanted nothing more than just to wail and sob. That's when Emma came in like a knight in shining armor, if that's the correct phrase. I was going through so much and I had no one to rely on. I was actually really stressed about it, but then Emma called me the same night that I had to talk to Ken. She comforted me, gave me advice, and listened to me rant for hours on end, and not once did I feel like I was being too much of a burden on her. One thing she told me during that phone call stuck with me, and she said, "I want you to know that you deserve so much better than how Ken and Serena have treated you. You're worthy of love, respect, and genuine connections. Don't let their materialistic mindset diminish your self-worth." That one line made me feel so powerful, and I can't even begin to explain it right now. I could not allow myself to be treated as less than others, belittled, or made to feel inadequate. I simply had to take a stand. It did not matter if they were family at that point. I knew I had to start thinking about taking some action, so that's exactly what I'm doing right now. Here's the plan. I've decided to approach the situation casually, but pretty assertively. No more just letting their belittling comments slide or accepting their materialistic mindset. It's time to establish some firm boundaries and let them know that I won't tolerate being treated like crap. I've been practicing what I want to say, imagining different scenarios in my mind, whether it's during a family gathering or a one-on-one conversation. I plan to hold my ground and express how their behavior has affected me. It's time they realize that their judgment and superiority complex are misplaced. Of course, I won't let this become an all-out war. I'm not out to destroy our relationship, rather, I want to redefine it on a healthier term. If they're willing to respect my boundaries and treat me with the love and acceptance that family should provide, then there's hope for us yet. But if they choose to remain entrenched in their materialistic mindset, I won't let it affect me anymore. Their opinions and actions no longer define my worth. I've learned that my true values lie within me, and I'm not willing to compromise that for anybody. Well, guys, I'll keep you updated on how things unfold. Updates. Number 1, I'm back again. Hey guys, I'm back for another update, and this time though, I'm ready to take action against my brother and my sister-in-law. So like I mentioned in the last update, these two have been treating me horribly the entire time. That's because they're rich and I'm not, but the thing is, they're only rich because my brother got the wealth of the family after Dad passed away. When I was a kid, I thought that every country had the same rule. Only the male first child gets the family wealth, and I used to feel so bad about it because I felt like it was so unfair to everyone else in the family, you know. But later, I found out that was not the case. This rule only applies to the country I live in. It's an absolutely ridiculous rule, and looking at my brother, it's clear that some people don't deserve it. So, after the incident where my brother and his wife insulted me in front of everybody, I decided that I would look into ways just to get back at them. If not to get back to them, then I would find a way to look into the wealth and see if there's a way I could get my hands on some money. So, I hired a lawyer and started investigating the legal proceedings that go into this law and everything else that needed to be investigated. I honestly did not think that I was going to find something to fight back with this, because all my life, I've seen this exact thing happen to so many other people that I started thinking this was the way to go. Lucky for me, because my lawyer was excellent at his job. My lawyer found this loophole in the system. A loophole so big that it could make me gain everything from these two and leave them with absolutely nothing. Just the thought of it made me so darn excited. I wanted to jump out of my skin when my lawyer told me what he found. So, basically, even though we're citizens of this country and we're currently residing here as well, the business that got passed down to kin, the one that my father built up from the ground, well, it was not established here. That means that the business started off in a different country, so the rules for the money related to it are also according to that country. This also means that the wealth that is related to that company is no longer liable to fall into the hands of the older male child. So anyone can fight for it and gain it because there's no rules, simply enough. I don't think my brother's aware of this rule, because he would have tried to stop me from even finding out anything this was close to it. I don't think he even knows that his company was established in a different country. I'm telling you guys, he's really clueless about this entire thing, and if it weren't for Jonathan, the company would be in ruins. Anyways, now that I know this entire loophole in the system, I'm going to use it to my advantage and try to take back my wealth. My brother should know who he messed with, and he should understand how big of a privilege it was to be given all this wealth. I'll figure something out and see what works and what doesn't, or if I need to do it in a legal way or not. I'll let you guys know if I manage to be successful at it, or not. Update number 2. Okay, so I managed to make use of the loophole and put my brother back in his place. But before I dive into the story, I need to tell you guys exactly how I did it. Obviously, my lawyer played a big part in it, but it was also with Emily's help that I managed to get the courage to do it at all, because, at first, I was very hesitant to do my brother like that. She reminded me of how crappy he's been treating me ever since he's gotten all his wealth, and that I need to do it to gain my self-respect back, because right now, they've buried it 6 feet deep into the ground. So, my lawyer made some very good points. I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I work for the company as well. My brother now owns it and is the CEO, but I'm a well-respected staff member there as well. Everyone loves me. They recognize how hard I work as a team member, and I've suffered a long time in the position. Every time my brother would mention something about the company or try to explain how things work there or what's happening, he would not let me do it, because according to him, a common staff member could not know anything more than the CEO. This could not be further from the truth, though, because everyone knows just how full of crap Ken actually is. I mean, he doesn't care for any positions, any work, any losses, any profits the company might have based on a decision. As long as he gets the result, he's satisfied. Even though we get the result because Jonathan and the staff work extra hard to make the company survive. Anyways, at some point, Jonathan actually came to me instead of Ken to ask for advice on some stuff. It wasn't just him. It was a lot of other staff as well, and everyone knew that I came with my father a lot when he was alive. So I'm very well aware of how to run a company and all that, whereas Ken doesn't know any of the tricks. Anyways, back to the point that my lawyers made. He told me that I could fight Ken on legal grounds and take back all their wealth. The wealth is basically the company and everyone there, including the board members, which already love me. So I would not have too much trouble getting their support. If they come forward in my defense, I could take over the company from Ken and be the new CEO. So I did just that. I filed a legal case against Ken where I demanded that the company not be under his name solely because he's the oldest son, since the company was not established in this country. If all the staff and the board would side with me, I should be the one to control it. It took some time, perseverance, and a ton of patience, but I managed to convince the board. Initially, when this started, Ken took it really hard. He started screaming at me, just calling me left and right and telling me how I have no right to do this and how I am being an overdramatic, insult, who can't handle when other people do better than me. That's the thing that made me mad, though, because I didn't care about the fact that he had more than me. In fact, I was happy for him. The entire problem was that he started to become a really big jerk when he got a bit of money in his pockets. That's not something you should do, especially to your family. Anyways, I kind of ignored his aggressiveness because it was doing me no good, and no matter how hard he tried, I was going to make him regret messing with me, and I would give him a taste of his own medicine. After a couple of meetings with the board and staff, I managed to convince them that I would be a great CEO for the company. Some of them were harder to convince because they were stuck in the mindset that you have to give everything to the oldest son and that the others would have to manage their own wealth. That's why some of them told me that it was a bad idea and that I should not do it against the law and the traditions of my country. I managed to convince them, though, because I showed them the analytics of the company ever since Ken took over, and everyone finally saw how terrible he was at keeping the company afloat. I presented my plans, and I told them how capable I was and how much experience I gained working here as a staff member, and also coming along with my father in his meetings, and everything like that. That's when they all believed me, and I got every single one of their votes. Then my plan would be foolproof. There was no way Ken would be able to fight me off legally, even though he hired a lawyer from one of the best firms out there. Eventually, I ended up winning the case, and now I'm proud to say that I'm the CEO of the company, while Ken is now working in the same position I was. Guys, he's very angry about it, but that's what he deserves.
Wow, Serena was an absolute nightmare, but what about OP's brother? I mean, she even said in the story how her brother was so close growing up, and then their father dies and he becomes the CEO and takes all the money because he's the oldest male? And then has all these luxurious vacations with Serena, who by the way was an absolute nightmare. I don't know, it just seems so crazy to me that somebody can just forget about you like that. I mean, we're talking siblings here. OP was struggling. If it wasn't for the board members and all the colleagues who finally realized, hey, this isn't right. I mean, OP deserves to be the CEO. Imagine if none of those people would have stood up and voted for her. The story would have just kept playing out with OP's brother and his wife just flaunting the money and living so crazy. Let me know your thoughts about this though, guys. What would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section down below. My name's Mr. Reddito. I narrate videos every single day. If you're new to the channel, hello. Hit that subscribe button for more videos. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Just remember, it's cool to be kind. See ya.